Xin chào, I'm Paul, when I speak. Tonight, on the eve of my 44th birthday, I wanted to take a few minutes to share from the heart. Now, I've jotted down some notes just to make sure I covered off on everything that's important, so if you see me glance away, that's why. But this is meant to be unscripted. This is me. And this is the beginning of a journey I've been waiting on my whole life. I've spent decades traveling, working, building, and leading. But this journey isn't about career milestones or chasing achievements. It's about coming back to the language, the culture, and the roots that gave me life in the first place. I was born in the US to Vietnamese war refugees. My mom carried the scars and sacrifices of a life uprooted, but also the resilience and grit that shaped everything that I am today. She worked tirelessly, often invisibly, to give me opportunities she never had. I initially grew up in public housing, relied on public schools and public programs, and yet through her sacrifice and determination, I've had the privilege of attending world-class universities, working for companies like Google and YouTube, launching my own businesses, and serving on boards committed to social impact. But even as I stood on global stages or sat in executive boardrooms, I've always carried a truth. The very language of my family, Vietnamese, has always been something I understood only halfway. I learned how to read it and write it. I can get by, but I've never been able to fully express the gratitude, duty, and love I feel for my mom. And that's what's left me with a gap, one I can no longer ignore. That's why I'm here. I've relocated to Vietnam for the next 6 months. Who knows, maybe even longer. Not just to live here though, but to immerse myself, to see life through the lens of a Vietnamese person, not just as a Viet Kieu or an overseas Vietnamese passing through. I'm here to stumble, to mispronounce, to fail and laugh, but also to listen, to learn, to grow, and most importantly, to build the vocabulary I've never had to speak to my mom and my elders in their own language. To finally say the things that matter. I see you. I love you. I honor the sacrifices you made so that I could have this life. This project is my love letter in progress. To my mom, to my language, and to my roots. But it doesn't stop there. I live and work in spaces of civic duty, social impact, and grassroots organizing. I've seen how misinformation and division can tear through communities, especially Vietnamese and Asian American communities in the US. I believe language is the most powerful tools we have to combat that. And if I can learn to express myself fully in Vietnamese, if I can speak the words of justice, belonging, compassion in the language of my people, then I can bring that home. Because my story isn't just about reclaiming words for myself. It's about using those words to uplift others. So this channel, when I speak, will capture that journey. It won't be perfect. And in fact, I don't want it to be perfect. You'll see me stumble over tones, laugh at my mistakes, and sometimes get it completely wrong. But you'll see me grow. You'll see me reflect on culture, family, and identity. You'll see me have conversations with my mom, with teachers, with relatives, and maybe even strangers on the streets. Some weeks, it'll be simple diary entries. Other weeks, deeper reflections. But through it all, the thread remains. Reclaiming voice, reconnecting roots, and remembering who we are. My hope is that this project preserves my lived truths. For me, for my mom, and maybe even for future generations. And if you're here watching, thank you. If you find something in my journey that resonates, I'm grateful. And if not, that's okay too. Because this is first and foremost for me. Every word brings us closer when I speak.